Hey there, it's Susie. Have you ever felt that being your own boss is a little harder than you imagined it would be? That actually growing a business is very, very different to just starting a business? Or maybe you felt that it's a little bit lonely some days. Well, today we're talking to three successful entrepreneurs who've grown their businesses from scratch to high six, seven figures, growing a team, putting in place plans, developing products and services that they really love. And they're going to be peeling away the curtain to show you how they've overcome different mindset blocks. They've changed what they do in their business. They've designed business models that actually work for them. And they're going to give us the highs and the lows and everything in between. This is an opportunity for you to get the real life stories of entrepreneurs who are perhaps doing some of the things that you want to be doing in your business. I'm Susie Daphnis. I'm the CEO at Her Business. And we are an online community for women business owners who want to grow and scale their business. So if you are a first timer joining us, I want to let you know that the Her Business Network is now open, and it's open until tomorrow night, Wednesday, the 9th of August at midnight Sydney time. So if you want to be part of a community that's going to support you to grow and have a 12-month growth plan just for your business that's going to work for you to reach more people, get new clients, get connected with more like-minded people, then stay tuned because I'm going to be telling you how to join us. So this week we have been welcoming a bunch of new women, just like those that you see here on the screen. But we are only open until tomorrow night. So we'd love for you to go ahead and take action today. Our team is going to put the details inside of chat. If you've got questions along the way, put them in chat and we can answer those along the way. So there could be questions for me. There could be questions for our panel here. So see this little guy on the wheel? We can often feel like that when we're in business. And likely, as you've grown your business, you may have found that you come up against a wall where there's just no more of you to go around. Or you have a team, but it's not a reliable team. And so things keep ending up back in your court. Or perhaps you haven't decided to grow a team yet. And so you find yourself there on the weekends, packing orders, being the last one to turn out the lights, that sort of thing. But here today and inside the Her Business Network, we're really about helping women grow sustainable, profitable businesses that thrive so that you are not working harder and harder, but instead you're leveraging your time. And here's what we found, that having a successful, sustainable business centers around one thing, and that is actually creating a profitable business, because then you have so many more resources available to you. And this is a business that's growing without you having to work harder and harder, even if right now you're doing all the things yourself. But how do you get there from here? If you've just joined us, go ahead and say hi in chat, just so that I know that you're here. Tell me where you're joining me from, and I'm going to keep going because there's a lot we want to cover today, and I want to bring on our panel. So what does having a profitable business allow you? Firstly, it means you have a reliable income. It means you can pay yourself, and it means that you can afford team and resources and the right technology reliably. So no up and down months, but really a reliable income you can count on. You can hire a team, and this is such an important part of running a business. Hello, Cheryl from Melbourne. Lovely to see you here. So hiring a team, we're going to talk today about how these business owners are actually bringing people around them to help them grow their businesses. And when we talk about team at Her Business, we don't just mean people who are on your payroll. We also mean those that are peers, mentors, accountability group members, suppliers, contractors, the person that works behind the scenes of your website to make it work, the bookkeeper who makes sure that you are going towards your budget and your projections. You can also, when you have a profitable business, make an impact on your family, on your faith, on your community, on your clients, a lot more than if you're not making a profit. But you can also realize some long-held goals. Now, you may have a goal to go to a retreat in Bali. You may have a goal to write a book. When you have a profitable business and you're not worrying about money every single day, it can allow you to do those sorts of things. Or joining a mastermind. This is a picture, an older picture now of our crazy masterminders, but you can join a mastermind. Maybe that's something you've had on your list, but unless you have a profitable growing business, it's hard to realize some of these goals. Or traveling. I love to travel. I love to travel. Maybe you love to travel too. And so for me, creating a profitable business was about being able to travel long distances when I wanted to, with whom I wanted to, whenever I wanted to. And to make investments, because as business owners, you can be in business for 10, 20, 30 years, but if you're not putting some of that money aside and you're just relying on selling your business to create an income, then you could be missing out on an opportunity to actually create leveraged income right now. So I could say a lot more about that, but we're going to move on. Here are some of the challenges that we've seen with women business owners. One is getting the right systems in place. But before that, it's this idea that we throw spaghetti against the wall, hoping something will stick, or we just can't get out of working in the business to work on the business. And we'll talk a bit about that today. The other challenge is not having a plan, not having a process for growing your business. And believe it or not, while businesses will grow organically for a little bit, there comes a point where you need to put in place structures on how you develop your team, how you develop your products and services, what your pricing looks like, what your calendar looks like, what your lead acquisition looks like. And you're always squeezed for time. So how do you make time for the things that really matter? And how do you go from a difficult feeling business, even though you might love it, to one that feels a little easier, a little like these ABC blocks, and one that actually fuels you, where you actually are enjoying yourself? Our tagline at Her Business is do what you love every day. And you're going to hear how our business owners today are approaching their business so that they get to do more of what they love every day. And really, if you are not serious about your business, it's likely going to remain a hobby. So today we're going to be talking about how to put the CEO hat on your head squarely and actually go towards growing your business and stop this roller coaster of growth, but really move forward. And we're going to talk about why you don't want to be doing it alone. Even if you're a solopreneur right now, there's no reason for you to be growing your business totally on your own when there's resources available for you to have around you: plans, mentors, teams, systems, advisors, boards, organizational structures that allow you to thrive. You'll also hear how being I'll talk more about doing less and obsessing later, how the Her Business Network has helped tens of thousands of women over the last 28 years to step back from doing everything and finally step into the leadership role, to realize that the business could be successful if they just got out of their own way. And you'll hear today stories of how women have changed their business model, their money model, they've broken the mold in their industry, and they've really been courageous around their business growth. So it is time for us to introduce our guests. So these are our guests, Amanda, Tina, and Naomi. I'm going to bring them on now so that they can introduce themselves, and we will go from there. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
All righty. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to be diving into a whole lot of questions. And what I'd love to do to start us off is have each of you introduce yourself. So if we could start with you, Amanda, then we'll go Tina, then Naomi. So just a couple of sentences to describe what it is, who you do it for, the pain or problem you solve, and how you deliver results for your customers. Amanda, off you go.
Hi there. I am Amanda Farmer and I am a lawyer. I help property owners to demystify the legal complexities of apartment living. And I do that inside an online membership community, which is called Your Strata Property.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Amanda. And Amanda's right now based in regional Victoria. She just shared with us an interesting story how she's on the front page of the paper today in a story all about city families moving to regional areas. So look out for that. Tina, what about you?
Hi everyone, I'm Tina Hay and I am the CEO of Puzzle Media. We are a digital marketing agency and we support small business owners with their marketing and advertising and help them grow their business through strategic and tailored marketing plans.
Great. And we've been working with Tina and her team for well over a year now, supporting us with our digital marketing and our advertising and all those fun things. Naomi, coming to us from Tassie, where I'm sure it's a little cooler than other parts of the country. Tell us about you and your business.
Thanks, Susie. It's a bit warmer today, which is quite nice. The snow's gone for the minute. So my business is called Brand Whisperers. So I help business owners create businesses that really work for them and fit them through their visual style in my one-on-one branding experience and through my business personality typing system, where I've got a quiz. You can take your business personality type quiz.
Right.
And my course called The Hamster Cure, aimed at creating a business that you love.
Oh, great. And getting off that little hamster wheel that I showed earlier. Very, very good. They say that success is in your head, and that has certainly been my understanding of business, and that a lot of what we create in our business is success we create starts with how we think about our business, and how we think about our business when we first get started changes over time. Tina, you've had your business Puzzle Media for 13 years. What had you shift your mindset to prioritize working in the business versus on the business? Because I know that you've made that shift.
Yeah, so it took a long time to make that shift. And I think what happens is, you kind of start off, you're working for yourself, you're kind of, squirreling away, doing what you can. And what happens is you get maxed out because there's only so many hours in the day. So you can then choose to work ridiculous hours, but then that's not very conducive to work-life balance. So I guess I got to the point, and it's been a slow burn, the 13 years, it's a slow burn. I've raised a family during that time as well, and still raising. My job is not done. But I think what happened for me certainly was, I was working with a coach at the time, and, it was I needed someone else to kind of look at it for me, because it's really difficult to see what's right in front of you, I think, when you're in your own business. I'm better at doing it now that I've been going for such a long time, but I still need someone to kind of say, hey, that's not the best way of doing things. So for me, it was really that I'd kind of maxed out what I was, I'd hit my 6 figures, it was all great. And then it was, well, where to from here? We had clients asking for other services that I knew that I could definitely facilitate, but I just couldn't physically do all of the work myself. So my first hire was a lady in the Philippines who helped me with some social media content and our clients with social media, and that she ended up staying with us for about 5 years. And then it just, I realized how easy it was to then
right. That's a really great point.
To just delegate. So and I've kind of done that ever since.
Yeah, and I know for me, if I was to go back and start again, I'm just going to turn my air conditioning off. One of the first things I would do sooner is to hire. And because once you start and you buy back some of your time, it becomes so much easier to say, oh, that role's probably not the most income producing activity either. Maybe I can hand that off. Now, Amanda, as a lawyer, working one-on-one with clients, either side of the desk, and having, a team of lawyers working for you is kind of the standard model in your business. But you broke that mold very early on and decided that you didn't want to work one-on-one. You wanted to work one to many. So you seem to have really broken through with that, and you're growing a fantastic business. But tell us about the decision to think very differently about your business model than other people in your industry.
Yeah, look, it was a tough decision to make and a hard mindset shift to step into, because as you said, I come from a very traditional profession, lawyering, one of the oldest professions out there, and there is a way to lawyer successfully, or so we're told. And it is to run a firm, take on employees, have partners, have junior lawyers. They're all out there on their hamster wheels doing their billable hours and increasing your bottom line. And that's the way that you make money and have a successful business in law. That's how I was taught, and that's what I see others doing in my space. I got to a stage, I had the employed lawyers. We were all doing the billable hours. I felt like I was spinning my wheels a bit and not really getting to where I wanted to be without putting in 80+ hour weeks and having issues with team and constantly being concerned about what my team was producing and how they were performing. And my business reached a stage where a couple of team members moved on, and I was looking at rehiring to replace them. And I had a chat with you, Susie. I remember this really clearly. And I remember saying, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do it this way. I want to do it my way. And I want to run this business. I want to be the only lawyer. I know I need great support to be able to do that. I want to charge for my value. I want to do the work I want to do with the clients I want to work with. And I remember you, and at that stage, I felt really quite distressed about it. And you said, stop. Yeah, you can. You can do all of that. If that is what you want, you can do it. And you really gave me that permission to turn that dream into a reality. And that was now about 5 or 6 years ago. And that's really what I've stepped into. I've found a way to stop trading time for money to build a packaged service that I can then leverage. I've got a great team around me. I'm still the only lawyer in my practice. And I've built something really unique in my space because I've had that permission from those who support me to do it.
Well, you've been so clear about wanting that once you sort of latched onto that. And I remember a few years ago now, you said, well, in the next year, I want 30% of my income to come from non-client facing work. And you set about creating a model of the business that allowed you to do that. Now that's now gone over 50%, as I understand. And so it didn't happen overnight. But
Correct.
It has happened, as the old L'Oreal commercial says. Naomi, one of the mindsets that you've had is that as a business owner, you realize you need to be planning a whole lot further ahead than perhaps you originally thought. Could you talk to us about that?
Yes, I think when you start out, you're just looking to get your next customer or the next few customers, and that's great. And things can happen a little bit organically, and you start to get referrals. But then, as you start to get bigger or start to employ other people or bring other things in, the stakes get a little bit higher. And if you just wing it, it starts to get really stressful. So instead of sort of looking at next month, I found that I was looking at, well, I need to be looking at least 3 to 6 months ahead and doing the actions now for then, rather than, well, where's next month's work coming from?
Yeah, that's a really great point. And that's one of the reasons, and I'll talk about it a little later on, we've developed like a 12-month plan. So we encourage our members to create a 12-month vision for the business. We call it your big kahuna vision, kahuna being the chief in Hawaiian language. And then working back from there, well, what needs to happen at the 9-month period, the 6-month period, the 3-month period. And especially when we start to, whether you're a solopreneur or you have a team, that's still essentially important, because it gives you that clarity. It gives you that focus. You're not squirreling down holes and roads that you don't need to be. And so inside of her business, we have a strategic planning framework, and I'll share that later on. And we also have now, for those members who are joining us, or you're thinking of joining us, we actually have a 12-month plan, which I'll share a little later on as well, of how you can start to think further out. And that is, I think, as you mature as a business owner, Naomi, you realize that you can't just be, on the back foot or just being just in time, especially when you start to bring other people around you who are looking to you for leadership and looking to say, well, why are we doing this? How does it make sense to what our 12-month goal is? Thank you all for those answers. One of the things that I know also changed for me as the business grew was I had to decide to do things in my business and stop doing other things, and to really decide what were those things, what were the income producing things, what were the things that were really my genius. Now, that doesn't mean I don't still do some things that are ridiculous that I'm doing them, but most of the time I'm stepping into the role of doing that is more leverage. So Amanda, I'm going to come back to you. You're doing some high leverage activities. You said you're the only lawyer, but as far as acquiring clients and growing the business, you're doing some high leverage activities that is so different to one-to-one to one-to-many. Go ahead and tell us about, again, how you've changed your model so that you can do different things to grow your business.
Breaking away. Yeah, exactly. Breaking away from that time for money model has been the real shift in my business and what is helping me grow quickly and in the way that I want to. So what I introduced to my business, I have an online membership community, I deliver education services, and I deliver a lot of those education services to strata managers, professional strata managers. They're people in my space who manage our apartment buildings. And I've put together a product which is quite a high ticket product, an education service that I offer to managers. And it's meant, in order to sell that product, I have to get on sales calls with clients and actually pitch my service to them, let them know what the price is, make an offer to them, let them know what the value is, what the next step is. And I've never had to do that in my role as a lawyer. Generally, I have the clients coming to me, this is my hourly rate, you pay the hourly rate, that's it, it's all done. So that's been a real change for me. And I've had to learn that doing that work, getting on those calls, making those sales is the most important thing, the most highly leveraged thing that I can be doing for my business right now. I love doing it. It's something new, and I'm learning how to get better and better at it. But telling myself, well, hang on, if I spend this time learning how to do it, getting on the call, I can actually make that high ticket sale, which is going to be fantastic for my bottom line. And that's where my focus needs to be. So different to what
I
other lawyers
love
do.
that. I love that because only you can probably, you're the only person in the organization who could be doing that. You know, similarly, I know, Tina, you operate at that level at the moment. And so, but that is the most important work for you to be doing. And there's other people who can do the other work. And that I know that, I mean, knowing you a little bit, it's not necessarily the easiest thing for you to do, but you're putting yourself in that spot where, because you know it's the most important thing for you to do. And I'm so happy for you, because I know once people get to see your brilliance, but sometimes we can shy away and we think, if I can just automate it, and clients come to me. But some of the times we do need to kind of be courageous in what we do in our business. Now, Naomi, when you could focus on anything in your business, you've prioritized money and marketing. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how you approach that in your business?
Yes, absolutely. So as like I said, as my business was growing, I found that I had to start thinking much further out and then have a different approach to money and profit. So I've brought in a monthly financial review, because before it was just earning my income, and now it's, looking at the profit margin of everything, and including contractors' payments, and then tax, and then GST, and all those things on top of it. And when I started growing my business, from just being a brand strategist to a brand agency, what I found was that I was bringing in more money, but it was all going out to everybody else, and there was nothing left for me. And then I was like, I've grown this thing. I've spent so much time growing this. Why aren't I reaping the rewards for that? So I need to change my mindset.
I love that, because, there's some key areas. Like inside of her business, we have 8 areas. We call them our growth zones, and they're 8 areas of business that every business needs. At a business owner level, you can leverage some of those things. But the things that are important for us is to be on top of our marketing. How do we attract, convert, and keep our ideal clients, whether that's one-on-one selling or whatever the right model is for you. It is our money, and not having our head in the sand around where is that money going when it comes in the door, and which products are profitable and which are not, and am I pricing things the best way I can to make the most amount of money on those products and services, and do I have the right clients who will buy those products and services? So all those things. So money, marketing, mindset, which we're going to talk a little more about, and leadership. So they're kind of the 4 areas that I think that are really what takes a business from maybe humming along to really escalating. Now, Tina, you're working far less in the business than on the business these days. And I know, you're still working through that. You're not totally leveraged, but you are focusing on being more of the CEO. What does that have you doing more of and less of in your business?
Yeah, so I have a team around me, and pretty much everything, our client work is really looked after by the team, apart from when people go on leave or we're in between recruitment processes, and I step back in. But I am very, very hands off on the actual physical day-to-day doing. What I get involved in is strategy, because that is something that I love. And
you're great at,
Yeah, very much like Amanda, actually, I quickly learned what I need to be doing, and that was selling and building relationships. So with what we do, it's very much, people don't just kind of commit to signing up for a year off the back of a Facebook ad, unfortunately, and commit to, $20, $30, $40, $50,000 worth of investment in their business. They don't, it's not a simple sales process. It is a building and nurturing a relationship is how it happens. So my key focus is that developing my team, making sure that my team are looked after, making sure that their needs are met, that they are getting the training that they need. And pretty much just running the show. So looking at my numbers, being a lot more hands-on with my numbers, understanding, looking at our supplier relationships that we have. We have a couple of key supplier relationships that allows us to do what we do, monitoring those, seeing how they're going. So it is, it's not so much the doing, it's the, I guess, looking after, is what I kind of say. And of course you get pulled into lots of bits and pieces, but ultimately my key thing is looking after my staff, making sure our clients are okay, and selling, basically.
I love it. And, you said running the show. And I think that as business owners, that is our role. Our role as CEO is to run the show. We have a Slack thread. For those of you who don't know Slack, it's an instant messaging kind of system. And it has my name, and then, it has an option to put your role. And mine is ringleader, because that's how I feel. It's like, I'm like, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we're working on. Here's the 12-month vision. Here's what we're going for. And, really creating the environment where clients can thrive and team members can thrive, and having clarity and focus. And it's hard to do that when you're the one packing orders, where you're the one doing all the customer support. And so I want to encourage you, if you're watching right now, the sooner that you can start to bring people around you to support you. And initially it might be a virtual assistant in the Philippines, like Tina mentioned, or a virtual assistant in Australia. It doesn't really matter where they are. But the thing is just to start somewhere, just to start to buy back your time. Even if your income, you're just knocking on the door of $100,000. Here's the thing, is like, for you to grow, I don't know many 6-figure, 7-figure businesses that don't have a team. And so you want to start to think about getting yourself out of the day-to-day, getting yourself into that hi, Anna Wolf, welcome, into that role of running the show. So if you've just joined us, we are here with Tina and Amanda and Naomi, who are wonderful members of the Her Business Network. The Her Business Network is an online mentoring and networking community for women who are growing and scaling their business. And right now, the doors to the network are open. So if you'd like to join us, head on over to herbusinessnetwork.com. One of the things I'm going to talk about a little later on is the 12-month plan that will take you out of the weeds, out of the day-to-day, and really actually starting to treat your business like an established business. If you are a high-achieving, high-ambitious woman business owner and you want to grow the kind of business you're hearing about here today, then you want to stay tuned. I'll tell you a little more about that later on. Now, while we might have sorted a few things out in our business, all of us still have some sort of level of frustration and challenge about something in our business. Tina, what would that be for you?
Mine is the key frustration for me is finding this balance between wanting to be in the business full time and give it my all, but also wanting to commit to my family and give them my all as well. And I have struggled with that balance. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. There are times it doesn't. I have a very supportive family. My husband and the kids, they understand, I do what I do. They're all incredibly proud of me. I'm proud of me, which is more important.
Yeah.
Finding that balance has been, I'm better at it now, but it goes back to the outsourcing and getting things off my plate, so that I'm not in that day-to-day, so that I can go off. If I need to go off for, a couple of hours in the middle of the day, the business doesn't stop. If I need to go away for 2 weeks, the business doesn't stop. And so there's been a little bit of, finding the balance of, getting the right people in to be able to facilitate that. But I think for me, my biggest challenge is always the balance. It's the balance. Yeah.
And, I find that there are seasons, and sometimes, now I don't have children, so I'm in a different situation to some of you here, but I know that sometimes you just go hell for leather and you're just having to focus because there's a big account, there's something, there's a big promotion. But then when you do grow a profitable business, you can then balance that out with, okay, I'm just going to take 2 weeks off. I'm going to take the kids. We're going to go somewhere fun, or I'm just going to go and sit in a spa by myself because I don't want to talk to anybody, whatever that thing is. I love that. Let's all go.
Don't talk to me, anyone.
Yeah, right. And we need to. So inside of Her Business, I mentioned our growth zones earlier, and they include sort of what we call the outer game of business, things like planning and marketing and systems and technology and people and all those things. But the anchor for those growth zones is what we call the U growth zone. And that is also having the attention on your well-being, whether that's your physical, your emotional, your spiritual well-being, making sure that you are not burning yourself out, not overwhelmed, that you do find that balance. And that balance looks different for different people. For some, it's like, I want to take a vacation. For others, it's that, I just want to work 4 days a week and have 3 days with the family. For others, it is, I just want to stop working Sunday afternoons. For others, it's like, I'm happy to go heavy now because I've booked a month away in Europe that month. And so it's really finding what that cadence is for us, but always remembering that we are human beings who own a business. And so we want to also take care of ourselves. Thank you, Tina. Thank you for sharing that. Now, Naomi, talk to me about your recognition that generating new leads, bringing new people, attracting more people into our lives has been a frustration, but you're working on it. Tell us about that.
Yes, absolutely. So well, a little while ago, shifted business models. So when I was doing the branding work and building a brand agency, what I focused on was creating an amazing service experience, which generated referrals. So it was sort of like it sort of happened automatically, and I didn't really need to think too much about it. So my service experience became my marketing. But then when I started to sort of scale my business to be a brand agency, and realized that all I was doing was managing projects and scope creep. And, if a project was losing profit, and it was so volatile that I sort of woke up one day and went, what am I doing? This isn't the business I thought I wanted to have. I wanted to be creative, which is where I founded my business personality typing system and went, this is the wrong model for me. And I created a course from that and moved into a different model, which is a signature course, which doesn't grow so well on referrals. Like, it helps. You can still create a great service experience and create referrals, but all of a sudden I'm like, I need much more visibility and awareness and lead generation to get this up. So that is a whole new world that I didn't really have to do before, that I'm crafting content and being clear on my message and reaching bigger audiences that I've never had before.
And that's really interesting, because especially when we're new in business and we've got a lot of our hustle on, and we can just rely on word of mouth and whatever. But when we change our business model, like you said, we sometimes need to change the way that we attract, convert, and keep our ideal clients. And that is, just something to learn, right? Because you have the ability, it's just putting yourself in the way of that great marketing content and information. And as a brand strategist, you already understand brand and messaging and all those things. So then it's just about, knowing that that's the way it used to be, and it'll be great. We may still have a referral system in place, but then this is how we're generating all these leads. Very, very, very good. If you've just joined us, welcome. Addie's saying, catching up. Lovely to hear Tina Hay, coach, speaker, trainer, speak on balance. Oh, right. Gotcha. Thank you. Great. If you have any questions for our speakers, please go ahead and drop them here. A reminder that we are here celebrating these beautiful women who are members of the Her Business Network, having them share sort of behind the scenes of what it's taken to grow high 6-7-figure businesses, bring on teams, change business models, find more balance in their lives. And we've talked already about how they had to think differently about their businesses. We've talked about how they changed what they were doing in their businesses. And then we've just been covering off some of the frustrations and challenges that they've had. And they looked at what are they doing to overcome those. I want to now talk about mindset, because here at Her Business, one of the things we do is we work on both the inner and the outer game of business. And by that, I mean the outer game of business is the practical strategies of how to grow a business and how to recruit staff and how to market. But we also work on the inner game, imposter syndrome, being more visible without feeling icky about it, resilience, grit, noticing when we have upper limit thinking that is keeping us right where we are. Because you can have all the marketing skills in the world, you can have the best Facebook ads, you can have a great team, but if what's going on in your mindset is not healthy, is not deserving, you don't feel deserving of what you're creating, then you can really put a lid on your success. Now, this is one of my favorite conversations to have, because mindset is like, I feel like that's where we create our future. We create it first in our mind, and then we do and show up as the person who can have the business that you want to have. So you want to be able to have what it is that you say you want. And so it starts with saying, this is what I want, and having a clear vision. But how do I get that? I need to be willing to be the person who shows up like a successful CEO. Naomi, talk to me about imposter syndrome and feeling like, who am I to be growing this incredible business?
I wonder if I'm not sure, but I wonder if imposter syndrome is something that all of us have. It seems to be a very common thing. And I was sort of in the beginning waiting for that to go away. Like, one day I will learn enough and know enough that I won't feel that anymore. And in fact, I found the more that I know and the more that I learn, the less confidence I have in some ways in terms of that imposter syndrome. So it's sort of like, I don't know that if you know that book, First We Make the Beast Beautiful, about anxiety. Yes, it's like you don't try and make anxiety go away, you befriend it. And that's what I sort of feel like about imposter syndrome. It's like, I'm not trying to make you go away anymore. Just, it's okay. I just sort of sit up beside you. It's okay. Just keep going anyway.
I love it. For 20 years, we inducted women into the Business Women's Hall of Fame. And so these are women across all sorts of industries who we recognized, whose stories we thought needed to be told. And so for 20 years, we brought women into our Business Women's Hall of Fame. And every year we asked them what their strategies for success were. And we also asked them what the stumbling blocks were for them. And without doubt, all these women would say imposter syndrome. And it looked different for different people. So it didn't seem to go away. You know, they may have had imposter syndrome when they broke through their first 100,000, but when they hit 1 million, it was different. When they were recognized in in an award, they felt like an imposter again. So I think it is something. And I remember, I don't know if it was Brené Brown or somebody saying what to do with it. Like when you feel that there, imagine that you're in a car and you say, great, you just take a seat in the back seat because I've got this. You can stay, hang out back there, because I'm driving this bus. Thank you. Thank you. Now, Tina, one of the things you said to me is that you are earning more and working less than ever before, but stepping into that from a mindset perspective hasn't always been easy for you. Could you speak to that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I'm from a family that, had very much working class values of, if you want success, you need to work really hard, you need to work long hours, you need to do, live life a certain way. And so I've had to break those stories down, stories that I've told myself, and be okay with earning more money and not having to work every single day and not having to work when I'm on holiday, not have to work Fridays and not having to work weekends. And so that has been, I've been sort of into, you say you can talk about mindset. I could talk about mindset all day because I think that it is absolutely key to having a successful business. Really being clear on, where you're going helps with that, but working on the stories. It's all stories that we're telling ourselves, right? They're all stories. It doesn't stop us telling ourselves those stories, but we have to also learn how to catch it. One thing that I have found really has helped me along the way is just being around other people that are at similar stages of business, because the more you talk to people, including people in her business network, you understand that, actually it isn't just me. It isn't just me that's feeling a bit nervous about standing up on stage and speaking, or going and, experimenting with Instagram reels, or doing whatever it is that you're doing. And so that kind of imposter syndrome and that story that you tell yourself. But yeah, really, I guess the earning more and working less, that's the dream, isn't it? That's the dream. And it's really, it still feels slightly uncomfortable to be sitting there here kind of saying, yeah, actually, we're doing okay in the business, and I am working less than I was 5 years ago. And just being okay with that and just sitting with that and being a bit uncomfortable, but sitting with that.
That is, you said, it's the dream. But, so many of us fail to realize it because our mindset has those stories, which is unless you're working, it's not, you can't have the money. I grew up in I'm first generation Greek Australian, as I know you know, Tina. And so it was like, you work hard to earn money. If you're not working hard, then don't expect anything. So I felt like I could only deserve the income I had and the wealth I had if I was always working hard. And I know I've still got a little bit of that. I know that's still going on a little bit.
I do as well. I do too. I'm working on it constantly. That's the other thing. Just it's constantly working, right? It's constantly working on yourself. It's not you do the work and that's it. It's it's constant.
I'm going to take a couple of comments here. Alex Hanlon. Hello, Alex. Alex is one of our wonderful Her Business Network members, and she helps women negotiate higher salaries. She says we seriously have to turn down the volume of imposter syndrome. Yeah. And Rosalie says, yes, totally agree with mindset is key. Emotional resilience, being okay with whatever emotion arises, exploring limited beliefs, underlying commitments, excuses, and boundaries. Yeah, great. Great. Hey, Tina Tower. And she says, that's such a hard belief to unlearn. And I know, Tina, you're talking about the work hard because I know you work really hard. Thank you. Thank you all for being here. I want to talk about the Her Business Network. It's obviously something that we all have in common. And right now the doors to the network are open. I'm not sure if this is your second year. Tina, I'm going to start with you. Tell me a little bit about how being part of the Her Business Network has contributed to your business in the time that you've been with us.
Yeah, absolutely. I wish I'd joined. I wish I'd known about Her Business when I started the business 13 years ago. It would have been, I think, it would have been even more helpful back then. For me, it really is the networking with women, other women that are in Australia, that are in business at similar stages. You know, some are a few steps ahead, some are a few steps behind. And with that, I think comes this great, this really nice community of, you know, learning from those that are kind of a few steps ahead business wise, and also being able to provide some guidance and advice to those that are not quite, you know, where you're at. And that's the same, I think, at any level of business that you're at. Within the Her Business community, there's so many different businesses in there. The goals group that I'm part of has been incredible. We keep each other accountable. We are also reminding one another to check in to the main community, because, you know, it's not just the goals group, it's also that there's just so much content there. So it's been great. I work in marketing, and there's a lot of marketing tools in there. It's great to go in and refresh as well on certain things that maybe I haven't looked at for a little while, and I can kind of refresh. So yeah, I love it. Absolutely love it.
Great. And I'm going to talk about the groups a little later on. These are our accountability groups. And when you join the Her Business Network, you get your own accountability group, and you get matched with women, as Tina said, who are in similar stages of business. So you're getting trusted answers. You're getting people who understand what it's like to have that size business, or have that size team, or have that much revenue, or whatever the situation is, because we actually do some matchmaking, and we make sure that you're with people who are at similar stages. Now, Amanda, you've been a member, I don't know, 8-9 years. I don't know. I should have looked it up. But you have been part of the Her Business Network. You take part in our year-long marketing program, and you've joined our new secret program, the Boardroom, which we're actually not advertising yet. It's a pilot program for women who have advanced businesses. Tell me what the value has been for you as you've been growing your business in being part of Her Business.
Look, for me, it was about being able to go to a space that was not my profession and see how others are doing what I want to do, because you can't be what you can't see, right? And we were talking then earlier about upper limit beliefs and what holds us back. And I so relate to everything that's been contributed here. And particularly for me as a lawyer, believing that I can have $1 million business, being the only practicing lawyer in the business and having a support team. I don't know of any other legal practice that is able to achieve that. So being able to step into the Her Business Network and see these women running $1 million plus businesses, and how they're doing that, from their marketing to their team to their mindset, has just been so valuable to me, because I don't get that anywhere else. And I certainly don't get that from my family and my friends who aren't necessarily in business. Having this group of women who have become such good friends of mine, to be able to share our business experiences, our hopes and our dreams, and to have them understand what that's like, to have this big goal, to have this big vision, what the day-to-day grind is like, to share the wins with and not feel embarrassed about that, to be saying, got my sales page up and it looks amazing, and this is my conversion rate, and I'm on the front page of the paper, or whatever it is in that moment, and to have them,
and have that be okay,
and that's okay, and they understand how that drives your business, and others in life don't get it the way that women business owners get it, and that's what I really get from the Her Business Network.
I love that. And you said something really important there about just people getting you. And that's the thing, is that we can sit in isolation, growing our business, picking up a little free thing there and there, popping into something, putting our toe in the water. But until we immerse ourselves in a tribe that is people like us, where people value collaboration over competition, where people are going to champion you when you're winning. They don't see it taking away from them at all. They actually see it as inspiration. That for me has been a fuel for me in my business. And it meant shifting. It meant not just, hanging out with people who, I couldn't be honest with, but being around other women who did want to grow. They did want to thrive. They did want to be successful. They did want a high 6, 7-figure business, and they weren't ashamed to say it because they were also dealing with the mindset things that we talked about. Thank you, Amanda. Naomi, what about you? You're a newer member of the network. I know you have a fantastic accountability group. Tell us how being part of the network is supporting you in your business.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm new. This is my first year in the network, and I've been part of lots of business networks over the years. And I have to say it has exceeded my expectations on every element, not only the goals group. So I feel like it was so consciously matched, the group that I've been put in with, that they're so supportive at similar levels. We get so much out of it from each other, but all the other elements as well, like the business directory, I joined the network to just not feel so alone. And I'd sort of hit a roof in my business. I'd hit that 6-figure level, and I thought, why can't I get any further? And I'd started to go, maybe that's not for me. And since I've joined the network, suddenly I'm hearing people's stories and being around other women that are doing things and getting there. It has reinvigorated my 7-figure dream again, that I've sort of, was like, maybe not. So it's just every element has been just so exceeded my expectations. And the book club as well. Like, there's just so much I could talk about.
Thank you. Well, we've mentioned a few elements of the Her Business Network. I'm going to tell you more about those in a few minutes. But there's something that you just said there, which has totally gone out of my head right now. But I think the essence of it was that we don't have to do it on our own. We can surround ourselves with the right people, that our family may love us, as Amanda said, but they don't necessarily get us and get what we do. And as women business owners, you want to be surrounding yourself with people who will reignite that vision that you had for 7 figures, but then you went, oh, maybe that's not for me. And I remember hearing a saying that was, if it's possible in the world, it's possible for me. But what that person didn't say is, if you keep seeing that opportunity in front of you, because you're seeing that other woman who just did, went from 150 to 300 to 600 to 1 million to 3 million, or broke through that 100,000, even though before that she'd struggled because suddenly she had people around her. She had access to the resources that Tina was saying. She had access to an accountability group who would say, you know what? You still haven't done that thing you said you were going to do. And I'm just going to be that little nudge in the back saying, okay, do you still want that dream? Because you're going to go for it. And I'm going to be here backing you up. And Susie and the entire community is here supporting you. And when we do have a community, what I love about our community is it's women from all different industries. And I know that the biggest leaps I made in my own businesses, and I've grown 5 7-figure businesses, has been not from doing what my competitor was doing, was by looking at different industries. And that's one of the powers of being part of, industry associations are great. And I recommend that you do join one if you want to, but being in a community of CEOs that are all women business owners that are all growing and scaling, and being able to, within that larger community, find your tribe, like Amanda has done, like Naomi's done, like Tina's done, like finding the women who are the most like-minded, who are growing similar sized businesses, who really get where you're at. Thank you. Hey, Tina Tower. She says, love everything you do, Susie. Her business, absolute awesome source. I wouldn't have the business I have without you for years and years. Greatest all-round business education and community out there. Well, I just have to screenshot that, Tina, before it disappears. Thank you so much. Yeah, such a great goals group. Alex says, this community is full of women who understand the struggle, and the struggle is real. And the struggle can be diminished when you surround yourself with the right people and you put yourself in the way of a solid plan. I'm going to talk about that later on, because we have just finished developing, the team and I have been squirreling away, developing a 12-month plan for you. So here's what I want to do. There's 3 amazing women here on with me. They've only just met today. They may have seen each other inside the community, but only actually got to talk a little bit before we started today. And I invited them to ask questions of each other, because when we are a woman business owner, we want trusted answers from people who we respect, people who are doing interesting things, people who we want to inquire about. So Amanda, I'm going to ask you if you'd be willing to ask a question of Tina.
I would love to. I think you are fabulous and your business is fabulous. And just hearing you talk about how you are doing less but still making more is really inspirational to me. So I was wondering how you've taken that step back. I think you said that you're pretty hands off with the doing now, and you're doing that more strategic, higher level stuff. For somebody who maybe, not mentioning any names, struggling to do that, what would your tip be for maybe the first thing that I could do to really get better at that stepping back?
So I was given this amazing tip years ago, and I bring this out all the time because it helped me so much. When you are sitting at your desk doing whatever you're doing, make a note, just a piece of paper. Okay, you make a note. What is it? I'm doing accounts, I'm doing payroll, I'm doing whatever, admin, I'm booking meetings. Okay, and then you go through that list at the end of the week and you say what produced money and what did not. Okay, and it is, sometimes you don't want to let go. So I've had about 3 or 4 attempts at someone managing my inbox because they'd come in and manage it. I'm like, oh no, I need it back. I have found someone who manages my inbox. That in itself has freed up so much headspace. And what happens is, even if it's one thing, you start with one thing that you say, okay, I'm doing this, it's taking a bit of time, it's not actually making any money. Who can I get to help me? Who do I know that can help me? And if you don't know, obviously you've got the Her Business community, but really doing that and doing it I've done it at several stages of my business. And sometimes I do get kind of caught back into doing the stuff. But yeah, doing that list and then realizing, actually, I don't need to be the one that does that. So there's certain things it has to be you, right? And then there's certain things where it doesn't. And we kid ourselves that no one can do it as good as us, right? Yeah. But actually, there's a heap of talented people out there that, with some guidance from you, probably can do it. Maybe not quite as good, but close to.
There's a great saying, which is 80% done by someone else is 100% awesome. And so I want to sort of throw that in the mix because they're not probably going to get it right. And I understand, I've been a micromanager, but the only way for us to go is to start to take some of those steps. Thank you. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Tina. Tina, would you ask Naomi a question?
Yes, Naomi. So I would love to just, you said that you're running an agency, but you're kind of like shifted into doing more of the consulting. Are you still, what does that look like in your business? And how has that changed your kind of day-to-day? Kind of 2 questions.
Yes. So when I was trying to grow an agency, my day-to-day started to be managing projects and scope creep and profitability and deadlines and why haven't clients got back to us? And it felt like this just precarious, chaotic sort of mess that could go wrong at any second. So when I decided to shift gears and shift business models, I've gone back to being a high ticket one-on-one branding experience expert. So my service experience for my branding, I have worked really hard on to make an incredible service. So I'm known for this lovely brand experience, which then allowed me to increase my prices because people want to work with me, which means I've got a lot more time. So instead of just trying to fit 10 branding projects into a month, now I can do one a month by myself. And so that's given me the time to now create this course about business personalities and, creating a business that works for you, which is now scalable. So that element is scalable. I've created the course. And so now my day-to-day is doing that lovely branding experience for people. Wonderful. And then creating, like, what else can I put in the course to make it better? How can I create awareness so more people know about this? So a really massive shift. And I'm doing the role I want to do in my business a lot more.
That's
Very
so
cool.
good. Very
Very
cool.
cool.
Yeah. And so we have a model inside of her business, which is like once you get in your mind how you want your business to look like, then you look at the model and go, well, is this business model going to allow me to have that? And then once you can line those things up, the money flows. The money, you'll figure that bit out. But it's really starting with knowing what it is you're trying to do. And then look at the joy in Naomi when she started to talk about the difference in how she's, serving one client more deeply. And we get to choose. That's the thing. We get to choose our model, our marketing, our ideal clients, all those things. Naomi, do you have a question for Amanda?
Oh, I've been waiting. Amanda, I think what you're doing is so brilliant, and I love that you've sort of broken that mold of doing what lawyers do and making it your own. And I feel lucky that you're here today. So I feel like you've taken a one-on-one high consulting model and turned it into the membership model, where I'm imagining you needed a much bigger awareness to be profitable. So my question is, how did you find that shift in terms of needing to be more visible and more people knowing about your business, and how did you achieve that?
Yeah, so I think understanding that visibility and putting yourself out there is so important to your business growth is the first thing. Often as women, we kind of want to hide under that blanket and say, look, I like what I do, but I'm happy to just do it over here and nobody needs to pay attention to me. Or we might be critical of those who do put themselves out there and, oh, she's all about her, or we might think that's what people are judging us if I put myself out there. And I think that's part of a mindset shift, that you have to step out of that and say, change that, who am I to be doing this to? Well, who am I not to? There are people out there who need what I am producing. And if there aren't people out there who need what you're producing the wrong thing. So I guarantee that all of us women business owners who are working hard in our business, we have something that people need and people want. And when you tell that to yourself, it allows you to step outside of yourself and how you feel and what you want, and to say, no, I need to be doing more PR. I need to be doing more socials. I need to be getting on lives. I need to be doing all of that so I can reach more people and I can help more people. And when I shift my mindset into that space, that really helps me. And showing up here in Her Business Network and saying, committing to network members, saying, you know what, I want to get more PR. I want to be famous in the space that I serve. And knowing that this is a safe space where I can say that and you'll get it and you'll support me in that. And then sometimes, it's kind of freaky how powerful this group is, because you say stuff and then it happens. Like, it's a bit scary. So just stepping into that role, I think taking that leap and saying, this is not about me, it's about the people that I'm serving. That's how I've been able to become more visible and realize how that drives that more leverage side of my business.
Wow, thank you.
I love that. I love the questions you ask each other. So insightful. And again, when you find people who are going in similar directions, the conversations get so, so rich. And these are the conversations happening every day inside the Her Business Network. Now, I would love to come back to you all for circle back for some final comments, but I just want to do an aside and give some people some details about the Her Business Network. So let me go ahead and do that. So this is a term I heard this week. I love it. Winging it is not a winning strategy. And so that's why today is all about the growth stories of 6- and 7-figure business owners, right? And so you can hear it's been by strategy, by design, not by winging it, that these businesses have grown. And that's why inside the Her Business Network, we've created a 12-month plan on how your business can go from sort of humming along to actually growing over the next 12 months. And I also like this quote: goals are for people who care about winning once, systems are for people who care about winning repeatedly. So we have created a system for you to win repeatedly. So what does your next 12 months look like? Here's what we've created for you. Over the next 12 months, as a Her Business Network member, you're going to have quarterly business meetings. These are like board meetings where you meet 4 times a year with like-minded CEOs, other women business owners. At those meetings, here's what we're going to work on. We're going to work on your plan for sales, for marketing, for money, for leadership, and for mindset. And we're going to do that in a way that is strategic, so that you're looking at, what am I doing for the next quarter around my marketing, my money, my mindset, my leadership? You're going to have more focus and clarity and accountability because you're going to be saying and declaring, as Amanda said, this is what I'm doing. And you're going to have other people go, okay, that's what you want. Great, we're here for it. You're going to leave with your growth plan for that quarter. And you're going to have the accountability between quarters on your progress. So you're going to really be stepping into the CEO role in your business. Then just before the end of financial year, we'll have a money day. And on that day, we're going to really prioritize profit as a goal for your business. We're going to work on budgets, on cash flow projections, on profit, on your pricing, on your offers. And do you need to switch to a different model? We heard our speakers today say, well, I used to do this, but now I do this. I charge more, but I do less. Then before the end of the year, we're going to turn our attention to planning. What do we want the next 12 months to look like? And we'll really dive into a plan for growth for the next 12 months. Now, a good plan makes better use of your time, doing less and obsessing. That is a term that we love to use inside of her business, do less and obsess. More clarity, no more bright, shiny objects stealing your time and energy, and starting the new year with a focus. So quick recap, 4 meetings, a money day, a planning day. Then what? You heard our members here talk about goals groups. We're actually renaming them to growth groups because women aren't just setting their goals and getting for them. They're actually seeing incredible growth in their businesses. And so here's what they are. They're groups of no more than 6 peers. You give each other accountability. You set your goals and your plans. And these are a member favorite. You heard Naomi and you heard Tina talk about them. Amanda didn't talk about them because she's part of our mastermind. And so she has her cohort in there. But it's like an advisory board. So it's your own sounding board for your ideas. And Liz has been in a group forever. They helped her get out a very important book that was the story of her comeback from breast cancer. Donna, who is in aged care, said, I don't know how I ran my business before I had this advisory board for myself. Then all day, every day, you get access to the Her Business Hub. Now, these are the resources that Tina was talking about. Inside the hub, you can search for, right in that search bar, you can say, create a lead magnet, write a marketing plan, hire an employee, do a role description, do a budget, and it's going to find those resources for you. There's all your member perks are outlined in there, as well as all the wonderful events we have coming up for you, plus a training library of over 300 trainings. So things you can watch, listen to, download across all areas of business, from planning to marketing to systems to people to money to personal development. Then Naomi mentioned the directory. The directory is where you get to promote your business, but it's also where you're going to find great suppliers. And so this is Rhonda. Just yesterday, she was looking for a virtual assistant. She jumped into the directory and she said, I immediately have 2 options for someone to do the VA work that I needed doing. So this is the place when the media calls and says, hey, I'm looking for a woman who's in this particular area. This is where we look. You can put all the keywords you like to help people find you, but it's where you can also find trusted suppliers. Then there's the option to network. And we showed the door. We showed the old style of networking the door a long time ago. We are not about the most business cards collected or the loudest person in the room or the most extroverted. We're about this option for 4 times a year for you to get to know other women, just like the women you've met here today, to do business together, to collaborate, to support each other, to strengthen what we call your connection network. And a connection network is not about networking, and it's not about networking events. It is about having someone who will open doors for you that are closed to everyone else, who will make the resources and support provided right when you need it. And all day, every day for the next year, we have weekly check-ins. What are you working on this week? What are you going to be accountable for? What are your business priorities? What are your personal priorities? If you're looking for that balance that Tina mentioned, what are you going to do this week to find some of that balance? It's also about accountability and support. And then we have a book club. And Naomi mentioned the book club. So we send you a relevant business book. We do this 3 times a year. And we work through those books. So right now inside of our network, members are breaking down the book chapter by chapter and taking what they can and using it. And you can see some photos there on the side of women who received their books. Plus, we have an exclusive group, and Tina mentioned the group, where you can go in all day, every day, and ask questions and get support. Here's my sales page. What do you think? I'm looking for a virtual assistant. I've got a pitch that I'm doing to a client. Does anyone have a proposal that they'd be happy to share with me? And I know, Amanda, there was a proposal you shared with someone who had her get 10 times what she would normally charge, because Amanda's not afraid to ask for the money. But this other person was. But having people that you can ask questions of, that you can share ideas with, that you can do work with, that you can have as referrals. And our members love this group. It's an on-tap community of the right type of people. Plus, this is new. So if you're listening, you go, oh, I don't know about this. We are having an in-person retreat next year, and you only get invited if you're a member. You only get invited. This is an in-person, show up, bring your bags along, spend some time face-to-face with other women business owners, but you don't get invited unless you're a member of the Her Business Network. So, but the network is not for everyone. It's not for you if you don't have a business yet, or if your revenue in the next 12 months is not going to be $100,000. We're really looking at supporting the women who are at that particular level. There's other organizations who can support you if you're just starting out. If you have a yeah, but mindset, we're not for you. If you're committed to staying stuck, you like the struggle, then we're not for you. Or if you just don't have the energy or the growth to grow right now, or you're needing a quick fix, you might need someone to do it for you rather than being empowered to do it yourself. But it is for you if you're operating a business that is doing at least 100,000, and as you heard here, many hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, where your business, if you're willing to be gritty, if you understand that growing a business takes an ongoing commitment, whether it's the 13 years Tina's had in business or the 10, I think Amanda, you must be getting close to 10. I can't remember. And Naomi, I don't know how many years, but no one here has just jumped out the box and gotten $0 to $1 million very quickly. And you subscribe to the idea that we can all grow together, and you're willing to invest in your business. So we talked about business and personal growth, a proven program. This is Yvonne. She's grown her business by 5 times in just a few years. And we're seeing real growth in revenue, in business size every single day. Women doing business with other women here in the community, getting 90% of business from referrals that come from within the community. So it's a really rich community. The other thing is inspiration and support, as you heard today, trusted suppliers, strategic alliances, and your own business community that you can count on. It's an amazing network, and you can see returns like these. In 18 months, Zoe made $25,000. Now, if your business doesn't have an ideal client in the network, then your money is going to come from saving money, finding the right suppliers, creating a wait list of people around you, finding a community that's supportive, finding a lifeline for your business. And as we mentioned, the businesses are across all sorts of industries. So we can do this together over the next 12 months. And what it's not going to cost you is $1,000 to $4,000 a month, which coaching is. It's not going to cost you $400 a session, which is what we charge for mentoring. And it's not going to cost you the usual $2,000 for an in-person or online course, which after a month, as fabulous as the course can be, kind of evaporates. There's a bunch of member-only perks, and there's a money-back guarantee. So if you join and within 30 days you think, this is not right for me, then we part as friends. But in the meantime, we've laid out this incredible program for you that's alone worth over $14,000. And that's before we include over $30,000 in bonuses for just a fraction of the value. So there's 2 ways to join. You can join on a monthly basis for $197 a month, cancel anytime, no locking contracts, or $19.70 for the whole year. And that includes your 3 bonuses, a total value of $30,000 in bonuses for just $197 a month or $19.70 a year. The cost of not taking action is that you could be a year from now and you're still in the same place. And the reason I'm doing this is my mission. This is my life's work. I've been doing this for 28 years, seeing women grow and flourish and wanting to tell their story. So the catch is that this offer expires soon. We close the doors on Wednesday, the 9th of August at midnight Sydney time. We do have a 30-day money back guarantee to make it a bit of a no-brainer for you, and everything is kind of included. So when you go over to herbusinessnetwork.com, and the team is going to put that link here below, you see a blue button. It sends you through to an order form. You then go ahead and you see us celebrating you into the network, and we welcome you into the network, and we start to unlock all the different things that are available. But if you're sitting on the fence, now is a really good time to speak up. So head on over to herbusinessnetwork.com, and there's a live chat. Just say, hey, this is my business. I'm not sure if this is right. I don't quite have that revenue. Can this still work for me? Or this is what's going on for me. I'm not sure if this is the right thing for me. And I'm going to share a story. I'm going to share actually with all of you. I'm just going to get rid of this slide because I'm sure our speakers here will appreciate it. It was many, many years ago. I had just returned from my travels in my late 20s, and I was sitting in a car park, and in my hand I had $750, which in 1991 was a lot of money. It's still, a decent amount of money. And it was for a 3-day course that I was going to do. And I was sitting with my girlfriend, who I had convinced to come with me to this event. And it was a course about business and money. And as a young woman wanting to find her way, I'd promised my mentor that I would go, but I was sitting in the car park with this cash moolah in my hand. And I turned to my friend and I said, this is a lot of money. We could go to Melbourne for the weekend. We could stay in a nice hotel. We could go to nightclubs. We could meet some boys. We could go to great restaurants. And we went, yeah, that's a great idea. And then I went, I can't. I told him I would go. It was a male mentor at the time. So I walked in, handed over my money, and 3.5 days later, I was transformed. I sort of decided then what I wanted to do with my life and my business. It was through that business that I met my now of 30 years partner, PJ. It's through that business that I met an author named Robert Kiyosaki, who wrote a book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. We were 50-50 business partners for 10 years and helped thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. But more than that, that investment in myself, in saying, I know I don't know anything about business and money, but I'm going to learn it and I'm going to put myself in that environment, absolutely transform my life. And the truth is, we're all sitting in the car park some of the time thinking, do I take that leap forward? Do I stay right where I am? And the thing is, I hope you've seen today that growing a successful business takes courage. It takes investing in yourself. It takes that taking that next leap, even if you don't know what's on the other side. But trusting that we're an organization who have for 28 years, we're the longest standing, having helped more business owners than any other organization here in Australia over the last 28 years. And being a champion for women business owners, that we're not here, we're not playing around. We're seriously here to help more and more women reach their full potential in business. So go ahead and join us inside the Her Business Network. I would love your closing comments. Anything you would like to say to contribute to this conversation, starting with you, Naomi.
Just join. Working for a community for such a long time, and a friend actually recommended her business, and I was on the fence and going, I don't know, the networks are all the same, are they really going to help? And it helped.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for everything that you've contributed to this conversation. Tina, what about you? Anything you'd like to say?
I think just you going over the value included. Again, I'd forgotten about half of the things that we get of being part. Like, it actually just really does cement that it is a no-brainer. And to those that have not come across Susie before, Susie actually genuinely cares about what happens to you as a business owner. And there are a lot of online people, online networks, communities. Susie actually is the real deal, and I just want to give you that shout out, Susie.
Thank
that
you.
Being part of this community is more than just paying a membership every month. You will get out of it what you put in, and there is so much to be gained from it, and networking with such an amazing group of women. So yeah, it's a no-brainer. I'll be renewing for sure.
Thank you. Amanda, anything you'd like to close up with?
Look, the Her Business Network is my secret weapon. I'm confessing here, revealing to you all, if it wasn't for this network, I would not have the business that I have today. Just hands down, that is so obvious to me. And, Tina, you talk about renewing. Susie is never getting rid of me. I'm never going. And the Her Business Retreat, I didn't know about that. Sign me up. I'm at the Her Business Retreat. It sounds so exciting. I love that you shared that moment, Susie, in the car with the money. And I call that sort of a sliding doors moment. You could have gone one way or gone the other way. And I remember those moments in my life. And a lot of those moments have happened here in the Her Business Network, where I've said to network members, I've got this opportunity. Should I do this? Should I do that? And those are the people who I trust to guide me to say, yep, go for it. Or to say, you know what? That's not in line with your vision. That's not what I heard you say you wanted. No, go that way. And when I look back, those decisions that I've been able to make with the support of the network have got me to where I am today, and will continue to get me to my goals and to my vision. So thank you for that.
Thank you. I want to thank Tina, Naomi, and Amanda for being incredible and sharing their business growth stories with us. Join us inside the Her Business Network before we close the doors on Wednesday, the 9th of August. You're all awesome. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much. Bye for now. And Cheryl says she's excited now to be part of this community. Welcome, Cheryl.
Welcome, Cheryl.
Welcome, Cheryl.
Thank you, everyone.